Welcome to Clixed Off, brought to you by Lucky Dice Cafe out of Huntsville, Alabama. Check them out at luckydicecafé.com. And now for your hosts, Daniel Powell, Jason Alvey, Alex Coos, and Tyler Spees.
Hey everybody, welcome to Clixed Off today. This is your host Daniel Powell speaking. Just want to let everybody know that Clixed Off is brought to you by TrollandToad.com, the world's largest HeroClix retailer. Find HeroClix new and old on TrollandToad.com and use coupon code CLIXEDOFF for 5% off your HeroClix order. Merchant and pre-order items do not apply. If you like what you're listening to on Clixed Off, check us out, patreon.com/ClixedOff. $1 and above gets entered into our giveaways. $5 and above gets entered into our Discord server for HeroClix strategy and tactics discussion. Joining me today is Jason. Ew, I wake up earlier than you do. Alvy.
That's right, 1 year older and even grumpier. Let's go.
And then Alex wants to really play Prime Rogue. Let's get this man to an event, Coos.
Yeah, I think she's good. She's alright.
So, surprise episode today. We didn't do a question thread for this episode like we normally do. So we're just going to talk about some of the IC regionals, what you should expect going into Champion Clix next week. And just talk about the general state of the meta, as Champion Clix is the last hurrah of the Collector's Trove meta before we go into the Spider-Man set review and the changes to competitive play that it will bring.
It's already here. Pre-releases are already happening.
Yep.
You're going to play tomorrow.
Yeah, well, ours came in surprisingly on time, but we had already scheduled a something else, so we're going to try to do it either on Sunday or...
Are we doing our pre-release tomorrow?
Oh, you didn't see my post, eh?
You said poll.
We got stuff.
Oh.
I know, but then I found out we had stuff.
Oh, okay, I see it now.
Yeah, that's almost exactly what happened with us. We didn't think we were going to get it in time because we didn't know it was coming.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I went by yesterday and I was like, oh, well, cool, we have it. And I sent Aaron a message. He's like, well, we already planned for this other event on Thursday. It's too quick, but maybe we can do something on Sunday or something like that.
Well, yeah, that'll be cool. That's, all right, Captain Universe, here I come.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, could
hopefully.
be. Let's hope it's good pulls.
Oh, man. Whew. Boy, I tell you what. You know, I wanted to talk about this because I'm really excited about Champion Clix next week. But I won't send us down a side road too far here. I am really, 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 really ready to play with Captain Universe. I am so
You get that
ready.
good vision.
That Thanos vision is back. And I just want to see how people are going to complain about it. Now, everybody's going to say, well, he can't, free mind control from 10 squares away and then phase back and hide behind a bunch of stuff. And he's got a really bit. Thanos vision is back. No more hiding. No more barrel keeping you from getting close. No more needing Mern automatically. You just make the shot. Now, there's the spider thing where if you're in, whatever, the symbiote trait, it looks like that's in the new set again. So that would get around it, but you just get to make the shot. Boy, that's good.
He's an Avenger, too, so I'm kind of pumped about that. I like Avengers. Is
Chair Panther an Avenger?
No.
Why not? Is this before his adventuring time?
Well, he's on a chair. I
don't think so. His throne's in Wakanda, so that's why he's not an Avenger. Yeah.
No, he's not on the team at that point. Poor guy.
He's in the Illuminati, but he's not He's not on the Avenger yet. He's the king of Wakanda. That's what his damage power is. So
Yeah.
too busy being a king.
Well,
one thing I want to say about Spider-Man before we start talking about meta is I'm eager, and people post this on our Facebook page or something. Like, I want to see how collation is with Spider-Man. That's the biggest question I have, because with Collector's Trove, we had a small baby set, like like 2/3 the amount of figures we usually have, and we had 12. That was the first time we had 12 boosters. Well, 12 boosters is the thing going forward. I'm eager to see how Spider-Man does. Are we looking at like 8 boosters of rares, and then we just get like 4 boosts, 3 super rares on a chase? Because if so, that would suck. That would suck real bad.
Yeah.
And this set doesn't have all the objects to make it a little bit more spicy, like Collector's Trove did. All the equipment. So I'm eager to see how this works. If it's something that it's just kind of you don't get as much, there's just too many rares. Anything over like half a brick of rares is too much for me.
In the 12 booster.
In the 12, yes. Sorry. Yeah. So if 6 of the boosters are rares, that's like the most I would actually want. If it's 7, it's like, ugh. That means you only have 5 boosters, and like if they keep it how it has been of like typically like 3 super rares, 4 super rares on a chase, that's not really acceptable for moving it, for increasing the cost of a brick and giving us 2 more boosters. Like, you're effectively just giving us 2 more rares, and nobody really wants that.
Yeah.
Especially with an MSRP of like getting close to $200.
It is. It's over $200. It's 203 and change for full MSRP.
Yeah, which is insane.
I was going to say, I did some quick math while you were asking about that collation to be posted, and there was $5,000 worth of Legacy Chair Panthers played across all 4 IC regionals.
Nice.
How many Chair Panthers was that?
20.
20. And how many players was that all together?
20. Oh, how many players out of all of the events?
Yeah.
Let me see if it tells me. So 32 plus 21 is 53, and then plus 33 for Columbus. That's 84.
105.
84.
So I think it's 105 total.
Yeah, so 1/5 of the meta thereabouts was Chair Panthers across all 4 events. I played with Chair Panther. TJ played with Jason's Chair Panther.
My Chair Panther was a winning Chair Panther. Yeah,
that's right. But I was looking, so there's a lot of different things to talk about. So I think Chair Panther was the first thing. I really enjoyed him, but the big winner here across all of these events, with Las Vegas being a little bit of an outlier, per Degaton.
I mean, are we surprised though?
I am. I maybe not surprised is the word. I am happy that a rare is performing so well in the meta.
Yeah, I mean, he just fills in the slot that everyone wants, that we've had for years. I mean, we've had Scott Porter the past year that fulfills that TK does a lot of extra stuff role. And then before that was the Venom Magneto for a little bit, of fulfilling the, hey, TK leadership does a little bit extra role. For cheap.
TK, sidestep TK flyer leadership prob, right?
And moving somebody around also. Like, that's what it is. He's very cost effective, and he fulfills your TK and leadership slot, which is huge. For just 20 points.
And he has prob.
Yeah, prob is just kind of an extra bonus.
Yeah.
Because he's probably chilling in the back, but I mean, it's whatever. I mean, people stick, Bloodstone, other different equipment on him, just to map-wide effects. He's incredibly good for 20 points. So not a surprise at all, because everyone is really going unthemed nowadays, if they can. So,
Well,
in the top 5 too, like pretty good.
Well, except I know Columbus was won by a theme team.
Alabama was too. It was
Las Vegas was won by a theme team. You said Alabama was too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So all 4 ICs with full collector trove being played, all won by theme teams.
Yeah. I'm just saying, people recently, like, even though they were won, I mean, I'd have to go through and look at like the top cuts, but I'm willing to bet there's a decent amount of unthemed.
Well, in Vegas, in second place, from Patrick Booth, Calendar Man.
Yeah,
Is February a good month for him? Even number month is good for him, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So next month he sucks. So don't expect Calendar Man in Florida.
Man, I wish they changed that.
All 4 of the second place teams were unthemed.
No, Booth was scientist team.
Oh, he's a scientist? Okay. Yeah. Well, other than that one, then 3 out of the 4 then were unthemed.
Yeah,
so that just tells me, like, that's the difference maker, right? That's the difference between first and second.
How does that equate to that? That seems a little bit of a reach.
That's what is it? I can't think of the phrase, but there's a phrase for that where, like, cause action doesn't mean
causation. Correlation doesn't mean causation.
Yeah, something like that.
But I tell y'all, that's the main difference. It's a well-built theme team. Wait a minute. So I don't think that's right, Jason. I'm looking at. No, that was the winner.
Emilio had an
yeah, and then Calfee, yeah. But that's the difference, right? Going first matters. And
do they record on here if they went first?
Yes.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Or even, yeah, so it doesn't matter who won the role necessarily and who decided it. But also the big thing was, like, so, like, if I look at Icy Vegas and I look at Nicholas's team, he has a bunker. TJ had a bunker.
He went. Nicholas went second in his final round.
Right. So
TJ went second in his final round.
That's because they both went to the bunker, if I had to guess.
No, I'm saying your argument was they went first. I was
maybe being first player, so you get to choose.
They get to force that choice.
Yeah, half of the ones that. Oh yeah, and Mexico was a roll off, I guess.
And TJ went first in his event.
That's not what it says in the thingy. It says Amelia was first player.
Where do you see this in?
If you go to the rounds and select the last round, round 9, okay. It says Amelia was the first player.
They had it wrong then because they were playing. They were playing on that Vibranium mind map. So,
okay,
they just recorded it wrong.
I mean that could happen. But yeah, Mexico was a 40-40 roll off. That's kind of neat. Mexico City's is nutty, and I know they have different availability of like figures down there, but and I know they're getting more and more because they're trying to get a better job of getting the figures down into Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely a very interesting because they have 32 players, and like these teams.
How I don't still understand how Mr. Gutierrez did so well with his Avengers team in Mexico City.
Yeah, it's Chase She-Hulk.
Did Chase She-Hulk just like
Thor?
Well, you have to kill the Thor twice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's just go over what he had because I found that to be the most interesting team out of the weekend.
Really, and we know She-Hulk's really good.
We know She-Hulk's good. You got to KO her twice.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the Hulk. The bystander.
This Thor doesn't have to be KO'd twice.
Isn't that the one with the Mjolnir?
No, this is Black Panther Rare Thor.
Oh my god! What does this guy do?
He gives the Avengers keyword to then deity keyword, and then they can use the Divine Favor trait.
So you can't
prob. Yeah, or perplex them, and then they get -1, I guess, for attacking non-deities. Plus, they get to use their Avengers TA, right? So I guess that's like a
that's a big
-2
deal, right? Whenever that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so I guess they're basically getting +2 on their attack that way.
Yeah, there's a lot of random. I will say there is a lot of random deities, though, just to be clear, out there.
And you can potentially, Scarlet Witch does have the because this is the Hellfire Gala Scarlet Witch. So she has the invite token once per turn for all characters with the trait. When a friendly character with the Avengers keyword attacks, remove the token. Friendly character replace a die in their attack roll with a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't play Rivalry, so.
He played Fortify, which is weird.
Well, he has Ares, Poseidon, and Zeus. So, I mean, it's a lot going on there. He scored a lot of points, though. 1480.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I just goes in and you can't prob it, so.
Yeah, and She-Hulk punches hard.
Oh, yeah.
And he played against a Colossus Juggernaut team with Chair Panther, Perdegaton, and Kevin.
So, at 40 points, that means second place either scored Captain America or Scarlet Witch, or a doubtfully White Tiger. It could have
probably it's likely Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
She's by far the easiest to take out.
And then the other 40 points was maybe he killed Perdegaton and 2 Timebreakers.
Yeah, probably.
It was doubtfully Kevin. Kevin's hard to KO. I mean, decently hard enough, but that would have been 50 points. So
Chair Panther.
Well, then it had been Chair Panther and 2 Timebreakers, or he would have
thrown the sword or something.
I bet it was a Black Panther. Well, it was either Perdegaton and the Bloodstone and 2 Timebreakers, or Black Panther and the Longsword, or it was 1 Timebreaker and the guy used Fortify to kill the Scarlet Witch.
That's a good point. Yeah,
sorry, not Fortify, Rivalry.
Right. That's a good point to forget about the one-shots and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's something that could be recorded, like something down the line. Because think about it, when you're counting points at the end of the game, I mean, you're running through everything that you KO'd. So, I mean, that is a stat that could technically be recorded, because you're usually inputting it into HC units by yourself anyway, right? Like, at the end of the game, you're hopping on the HC units and putting in, here's our score, and we both accept it.
Yeah.
Or something like that. It makes sense if you would be able to do that at some point. So that way we wouldn't be guessing, and we would be able to say, oh, yeah, it looks like he took out Kevin and Black Panther.
That would be interesting to know.
Yeah, because it's not a stat that's like, oh, we have to really think about it. No, you're counting it at the end of the game anyway. You're like, I got 3, or I got 275. You count through everything. So anyway, just a thought.
Yeah, well, that's really cool. I mean, I really like I really like that team.
Oh man, they got a team called Plants and Muscles that was in Mexico. I like this.
Colossus.
It's a man thing poison ivy team with Colossus and Butterfly.
Yeah.
So
here's what I do believe, and here's my advice for playing non-themed. You almost have to have Kevin. I think that makes the unthemed. I think that's the key for unthemed for me. Is the Kevin.
To make it worth it, just to play Kevin?
Because you get the reroll and the prob. And you put a turret on him, so you get the support at ranged.
That's interesting that you would have that thought process of that's where your stance is it's worth it just for.
Well, so like, even if you're
Kevin.
playing the collector, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think even if I was going to play collector, I'd play collector Kevin because
That's a lot of points. I mean, you're only down to 60 left.
50 probably. Because I play Tarette because you run it. Oh, and this team here didn't have the Sandman. I'm looking at the second place in Birmingham, and it didn't have the shape change. It went with the super senses option instead of the shape change option.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's so key to keeping like collector alive is having that Kevin. So like re-rolling the shape change, re-rolling the super senses, re-rolling the impervious. Just having 2 chances at that, right? You talk about how powerful, Scott Porter is or was. It's the same idea. So, but you get it on a piece that has to be KO'd twice or 3 times.
He used the universal weapon for TK on the Kree Accuser, I guess. That was free. That's interesting.
I do like that from Jason.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Calfee's a local here in Chattanooga. It's a very interesting team. I really like it.
I mean, obviously he did well. So, I mean...
Oh, yeah.
But, it's thinking about those little things that could be different. Now, obviously, a Kree Accuser and the universal weapon is a way different than trying to get an Ultra Chase Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of people have an Ultra Chase Kevin at this point.
Well, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, do they? I mean, I know all those people that went to the cons and whatnot, but in the overall...
I will say, I do like, and I think we'll see more people... Well, it depends on how Hadari does, because she's kind of fallen off a little bit on... Like, outside of your guys' Columbus, there was not still, yet again, another lack of Hadari. Vegas only had 3 teams. Let's see, how much did Alabama have? Alabama had... Oh, goodness, where is she?
She wasn't in the top 5.
2 teams out of 32, or however many they had, 20-something. And then I know Mexico City had at least 2 teams. So 2, and then 3. Then at Columbus, you had 6.
I mean, she cost a lot of money still.
Yeah, but we've said it multiple times that they cost a lot of money. I mean, people are still going to get it. She's your focal point of the team. If we're talking about like the bystanders, right, from Collector's Trove that cost as much as she does.
If you're talking about like Worlds or maybe Adepticon, I get that that's probably true, but I don't know that people are doing that. They're just gonna have it for these regionals.
I think they are, because right now, if I was going out today and wanting to spend and buy a meta piece that's going to last for a while, Hadari's absolutely on the list, because Black Panther's got at least 2 worlds in it. So
I'm not saying that she's not going to be around or she's not good. I don't know.
It's just a better investment than
people obviously aren't playing her that much, though.
I mean, it might be a regional thing too. I mean,
maybe they just don't. Maybe they're just thinking they're gonna counter build because that's what they think they're gonna see. And they just don't want to play her. I don't know. They just don't want to play her. I don't know why.
Yep, that's a good idea. Just counter build and play something else. Just don't even worry about Hadari anymore. It's a good idea.
Well, another thing I find interesting is it goes with the, are people tired of playing it?
Already?
Not Hadari. Hold on. This is a separate topic, but related. Is like there's no Merns. Like even on sideline, no one's really playing Mern.
He has fell off a little bit.
I will say this: Mern was an absolute must for my team.
Yeah.
I don't know why Mern. I don't know why Mern has fallen off so much.
Well, some of it's fatigue. Some of it's that teams are building without some of the keywords.
He came in at 23 on the sideline list.
Yeah,
dropped 12 spaces.
I don't know why. I don't know why people have just forgotten that Butterfly exists. I mean, I understand sideline space. They want to play the Ares. They want to play the, whatever, all this other stuff. But guys, Major Brock's bunker still exists.
Doesn't matter if you're going first or you choose a map going second. I mean, you choose the map. I mean,
I understand, but if you go second, you still run into the problem of just getting yeeted, right? Well, no.
I think.
But that's the thing, right? Like that. Maybe that's helping people go second is the fact that people are fatigued with Mern and Butterfly, and then they're just capitalizing on Major Brock's bunker.
Well, I also think one aspect is the fact that it's hard to divvy up that much points for support pieces. Because there's not a lot of Mern Butterfly pieces that are just like straight attackers at this point. You're like saying, okay, I'm playing Death Metal Wonder Woman, or I'm doing Mern, or I'm doing Major Logan. Like those aren't heavy attackers. They can attack, don't get me wrong, but instead, because the meta looks more like offensive, right? There's a lot of pieces on a lot of teams that are just attackers. People are just settling for, okay, I'll play Fergeson, I'll play a couple other pieces, but I don't necessarily need, you're already giving 30 points up for Chair Panther. So I need to give up 60 also, so 90 points for essentially support. That is, or if you also add per Degaton, right? So 110 points. That's a lot to put on a team to feel comfortable with what you have left to take out the other team.
No, I get it. I understand where you're coming from, Alex. That's fine. But I mean, keep in mind, right? Like a lot of these teams are close combat based that we're looking at,
and thus don't need Mern.
Yeah.
Well, you think about how to counter them. How do those teams feel if they're at their printed values?
Yeah.
I mean, Collector feels fine.
Mern's really good to just knock down their stats.
That's right. Everybody forgets that exists, right? So if I look at
just from last year playing him, that was such a difference.
Well, I mean, it's a huge difference maker, and I played him right. In Columbus. Keep in mind, like I played at Columbus this past weekend. I played a Hadari Black Panther Prime Panther team with Butterfly and Mern, and Mern was a huge difference maker up close and at range. Up until I ran into TJ, and one of us had to knock each other out with basically both Hadari based teams. So, it was a big deal. But like you talk about this number one team from like Mexico, right? Let me see here.
It's not very Mernable.
It's not very Mernable, but it also has a lot of close combat.
Yeah.
So you're talking about that. You're talking about that Avengers TA. No, there ain't no Avengers TA. You're at an 11. Now,
She-Hulk's still...
Everybody's Mernable on the stats. It doesn't matter.
Right, but She-Hulk's still hitting 12 for 4. Flurry.
Yeah. I
mean, the stats are still high. They're not necessarily positive. People are just playing pieces that are 12s. So
yeah, I mean, now the Collector...
You can Mern me.
Yeah, the Collector's not a big deal, like with Mern, but that's the thing, right? Butterfly. Turn into Death Metal Wonder Woman. Now you don't have to worry about it.
Worry about what?
The Collector. Because Death Metal Wonder Woman gets around it. If you can't take it out, if you can't take the Collector out fast enough, your stuff's probably going to get collected. But if you play the Death Metal Wonder Woman, you got to revive. You get around it one turn. You get another ability to go attack the Collector.
I don't know if I'd call... I don't know. That's a good question. I think, like, talking about what pieces, like, Butterfly options... Because I think that's another thing is, like, well, you talked about sideline, and that's the biggest argument against Butterfly. You really only have 2, maybe 3 spots on the sideline to give up to Butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, I don't know if that would be the right play against Collector. Like, Death Metal Wonder Woman, she's good, but it's a one-shot thing.
Well, I definitely, personally, I needed to use it when I played a Collector to beat the Collector, because I needed to use the Prime Panther revive and the Death Metal Wonder Woman revive on a turn. So
that makes sense.
For like a different type of team build, you definitely have to have it. But I can see why some of these collectors, especially in Vegas, they just ran around collecting everything. There was no stopping. There was no stopping them.
Yeah, I guess it depends on build 100%. Because I would debate between Death Metal Wonder Woman or like Elsa Bloodstone. Not the Prime, the
right
other one
to keep Collector from healing.
Yeah, because I think that's the other detriment against the Collectors. You could just be like, all right, well, I'll just get rid of this team player, equipment and just heal myself 3 and get back up above the stop click. So it depends. It depends on the matchup, but sometimes people don't want to have all those options because you can get choice paralysis on being like, okay, I've got to choose this, and then I've got to choose this on my team also, this. It could be a lot, and your brain kind of gets a little full before the game has even really started.
Yeah, but keep in mind, right, you just take your notes.
Do I Beetlejuice or not Beetlejuice? That's probably the biggest detriment to people right now, is people forcing Beetlejuice onto their sideline when their team sucks with Beetlejuice out there.
Well, and the main thing is like, they don't play it with Butterfly. So, like, they have to give up... Well, Timebreakers still give up 5 points a hit.
I get it, but they're still better than damaging the other stuff on your team.
Because they're autonomous, right? So they can take those actions. Because to me, it's not about the damage. It's more about having something that could take the actions to save.
Well, I tell you what, when I was going first, my turns would be power action, add a Vibranium, shoot the Vibranium, 2 action tokens, one of which was on a Butterfly, to yell for Beetlejuice. Then my second turn, I was able to TK, move up Weasel, Alpha Strike with Hidari, and then power action call out Beetlejuice.
What did you do the following turn?
Watch them struggle as they try to not use free actions?
Not their turn, your turn, because Beetlejuice was still there, though, right?
Oh, it was fine. I still had the reach.
Okay, but you were still good with not being able to take free actions.
Yeah, I built my team around not taking the free actions.
Right. You built your team to make Beetlejuice an option. A lot of these teams I'm seeing looks like they just put Beetlejuice on there, and it's like, why? When would you ever?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
really
like, so I would miss out on I would miss out on my sidestep. I'd miss out on a perplex. I'd miss out on an outwit and the ability to flurry with Prime Panther, and the ability to outwit with Chair Panther. So there was a lot I technically missed out on, but it's fine.
Like a collector team. Should Collector ever bring out Beetlejuice on his own?
I don't know why.
Yeah. I don't either. Like, that could be a spot for, I don't know. I mean, it could be something else. We have other free things in the game. Like, Mimic is a free one. People forget the treasure chest is technically free also. Yeah. It's like if someone has to die or something for it to pop out, I think. Like, there's free stuff out there that everyone keeps sliding in Beetlejuice, and I get it. You want that option to Beetlejuice your opponent, but if you don't have an easier method to do it and your team isn't built for it, it is 100% a wasted sideline spot.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there was a way to see how many people actually brought out their Beetlejuices. One thing I want to mention, speaking of Beetlejuice, we did have a top 4 Beetlejuice, main force. Gabriel hit in Alabama. Had a team that says F your free actions.
Now, you know what the other option there is that they're including Beetlejuice's bait.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't ever intend on bringing out Beetlejuice, but it's the bait on there.
For Chair Panther, which I don't want to get into a debate about Chair Panther. I don't like him nearly as much as a lot of people do, but I prefer to build my teams to be manageable if Beetlejuice is out.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're great, but they're just more manageable. They're not built around free actions.
Yeah.
But I want to talk Gabriel's team real quick. He had Main Force Beetlejuice with motorcycle, Prime Colossus with motor. Well, you can't have two motorcycles. One of them had to be a Hell Cycle.
You can have two motorcycles.
Can you?
Yeah.
I thought equipment was unique.
That one's not.
That does say that. That's right. My mistake. He also played Wendigo. I don't understand the Wendigo.
It just has 2 stops.
I still don't get it for 45 points. But hey, he got top 4, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing has, it's a 7-speed hypersonic.
Yeah.
With giant reach. I mean...
Yeah, he's not using that. Instead of making attack, use a close terrain action as free, though. Oh, no, that's only if he's at 95 points. So he just...
Marie gives out... Maria brings out support.
Okay. All right.
So, I mean, it's support is pretty powerful.
Now, he actually paid 5 points for Treasure Chest. I like Treasure Chest, so I think most of the effects are pretty decent. I probably would have liked it more on that Amelia team where you sit in the back, and then you could just keep rolling the Treasure Chest and maybe get some cool powers from it by being next to it. But he only used 3 sideline spaces, Ares, Chthon, and Mimic, and 1 map, and took top 4.
That's what he's doing.
What?
His Wendigo is the Ares target.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
That makes a ton more sense.
Giant blades. Yeah.
Yeah, guys, for all you listeners, do not sleep on these sideline deity people. Like Ares... Poseidon, like, people are starting to use them, and they could be incredibly good. They're not as gimmicky as you would think they would be.
Ares Bomb is good.
That's exactly why I blocked Ares on more than one occasion with my Chair Panther.
He's really good, for that.
Yeah, I'm still struggling with Chair
I wonder if
Panther
there's ever a world where you main force him to be able to get that off. It's just a devastating alpha strike.
It's still once per game, though.
I know, but it's your alpha.
Not if he's main force, right? You get to keep doing.
No, it still is. It's just the effects.
Still is.
Yeah.
And if he's on the board, your minimum result is the character's printed damage plus 1.
Oh, okay.
Which is nice, but I mean. It's so good to get. I mean, when it goes off, it does so much stuff.
Yeah,
with a giant-sized character or a colossal character.
Which not a lot of pin particles out there to make them colossal. You didn't need to with Wendigos, but
didn't with him. But I mean,
yeah,
that's what I was doing with like Prime Panther, Diana, and that. Like. When it goes off, it's really great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or you use like Aquanix. Can do the same thing. Aquanix has blades and he's a giant or colossal, and then you can just voop over with Diana and then do the same thing.
Maybe that might be why Mexico City Avengers did well too, because the Chi Tiger has blades and is a giant.
Oh, that could have been it.
And he has Ares also.
Yeah, it's not to be ignored by any means.
Yeah, that's a big one. I think that is and has Cosmic Cube on White Tiger. Why is it for free?
Cosmic?
Well, no, does she have aim? Oh, she has aim.
Oh,
that's cool. I didn't realize she had aim.
Oh, okay. That is cool.
What does having aim do for her?
It gives it to her free. Cosmic Cube for free.
Yeah. Listen, Cosmic Cube, no one likes it because you have to do the whole stupid turning it, roll a d6, or turn it. But if it's free, I mean, that makes it playable. For a character that you're not going to normally equip with anything, might as well give her it for free. That's a cool combo of just White Tiger, Cosmic Cube to where she could kind of move around a little bit. Or place an adjacent character up to 4 squares away. So you could do that to the Tiger.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad. And then do the Ares Bomb.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a way to deploy it like across map, unfortunately, but...
No, yeah. I mean, it's not super, like... There's some trimming up you could do with Avengers, but I mean, looking at it from my perspective, it's like, well, that's a 40 points investment for that. And that's it. Like, Cosmic Cube's free, Ares is free. You have a really good Tiger.
Tiger's got sidestep, so...
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, 6 squares out. Then another 2 squares. Yeah,
and she generates at the beginning of the turn, so was always her biggest negative, was that it's the beginning of your turn, so you just have to have her in a good position.
Yeah.
But I mean, just move her up a little bit and protect her. I need to rethink her, especially with Falcon team and Red Wing, yeah, just to keep the Tiger alive, even though she could keep making them. It doesn't really matter that much.
I mean, just keep in mind, right, like, she's just good. She only takes 2 damage at a time, even if you just never think about the Tiger ever.
Yeah. I mean, I like the key.
Where did we have her ranked on the thing? Do you remember, Alex? Did you still have that up from earlier?
No, that was Collector's Trove I had up. I'd have to go back and look at the other one.
I mean, she's fine. Like, here's the thing. She's fine in that she just doesn't die. And that's probably good enough right now.
Yeah.
Like, she just doesn't die. Like, that's it. That's it. Like, nothing else. Just those words right there. She doesn't die. All this other cool stuff that y'all are talking about, totally fine. I'm down. I'm totally down. But she just doesn't die. That's probably all you need right about now.
Yeah. It's definitely
We're not live yet. We are. I was gonna look and see where I had White Tiger ranked to see, because I think I had her in A tier.
Yeah, I think we all did at some point. I know I liked her because I also was high on Falcon and Red Wing. But either way, just looking at the different teams out here, there's no definitive. It wasn't like the mini meta we had before Collector's Trove, where it's like Hadari and Colossus everywhere. And it was like, that's it. That's all you got. It's like, no, there's still a lot of variety. Like Diana is starting to see a lot more play. The chase from Masters of Time, because she can yeet some characters across the board. Caveman Wally West was on 5 teams in Vegas.
He shuts down rollouts.
Yeah, yes. And he's also very good. Like, he's a good attacker.
But you know the biggest problem with Caveman, and this is exactly what I think he's ran into, at least into some other events, Mern.
Yeah.
And Beetlejuice. Like, I played against that while I was practicing for this, for the Columbus event, and I just brought out Beetlejuice and had Mern. He was a 10 attack and couldn't go to his flurry click.
Yeah.
And
makes sense.
And then, I mean, it's just like, I'm not saying to write him off because of that, but...
Well, it's just a rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
It's how HeroClix is kind of built around. There's always going to be certain figures that just counter other figures. It's just picking the right figure at the right time.
Yeah.
I mean, he can just stand there and take away super senses. That alone might make it worth it using.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's quite good and prop, and it's just 50 points, not a huge investment. And he has Warrior, so you can give him Longsword for free.
Yeah.
Which is skyrocketed, I think, to one of the best equipment in the game right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because close combat is so significant, and being able to give someone what is it? +1 attack, +2 damage, or something like that.
No, so
For
it's
close?
it's close. It's
Close
CCE.
combat expert blades.
It's CCE, but if you roll blades, they get damage dealt +1.
That's what it is. Thank you.
Yeah, so you can do up to 7 damage potentially.
And I pulled that off once, and then the guy rolled his impervious on his Colossus.
Ooh.
Oh man!
I ended up winning that game. It was round 1 versus a super nice kid. Yeah, I did the thing, right? At least I got it to land, right? Even though he rolled out of the
But think about how many times we have been playing Bucky's Arm, like constantly. Like most teams had a Bucky's Arm at some point. Yeah, now I know I gave the super senses on a 6, but it was the close combat expert that most people liked, and having a longsword for free on a lot of characters is nice. Like Chair Panther could get it, even though who knows how often he's really running around bladesing people.
I played like 6 games. I've played more than 6 games, but 6 games at the event. And Chair Panther didn't attack once, I don't think.
Yeah, I wouldn't think he would.
No, he's got 2 damage. He's not doing too much.
Well, not with a longsword.
Well, sorry. And he doesn't have any move and attack.
Yeah, that's. I mean, honestly, that's the biggest detriment for me with Chair Panther. I want to like him. I like what he does, but it's 30 points for him to just sit in his chair, like literally just sit there in his chair and say you can't use those sideline. And I understand that's a huge deal, but it's a huge deal before the game begins, and then when the game begins, he does nothing. He can. You know what I would
much rather prefer for him to be instead of a warrior? A herald.
Yeah.
Because I was paying 10 points on him for him to be Khonshu. And that was totally fine. Like
it is kind of weird he isn't. Like I always felt like Black Panther, I mean, he is the herald of whatever Panther? Bast. Like he is. So why doesn't like all Black Panthers have herald, or most of them have herald?
Right. And maybe it's Bast. Is it Bast, Jason, or is it a Tum?
No, it's Bast.
Okay. Whew. Look at there. Yeah.
Look at
this old meta player knows his comics.
Yeah, you're right. He should have Herald keyword, but he doesn't. That's unfortunate.
No.
So.
Yeah. But, I mean, this is the meta going into Champion Clix.
Indeed.
And then we get Spider-Man, which will be... I don't know how meta-defining it'll be. It'll be different. I don't think it'll be as meta-defining as Collector Stroke, because we got all those...
Man.
All the equipment, the one-shots.
I think Major Logan might have an opportunity to come back after Spider-Verse.
No, thank you. Please, no, we don't need that.
Huh? He's good,
Why?
Alex.
Because of all the Super Sense rolls.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds to me you're saying Caveman Wally West needs to be played more.
Yeah, I guess that too.
So,
but I think I think if the biggest thing looking forward to Spider-Verse, I think I mentioned this earlier, Kevin. I think you need to have Kevin, and you need to be ready. I mean, not only from a theme team perspective, because, Celebrity might make a little bit of a comeback. Probably not, but maybe. But yeah, I mean, that re-roll, being able to try to get that extra shot at the senses, I mean, it's just so demoralizing if you roll out right on the super senses, right? Because you did all that work to set up. Like, I think super senses is probably one of the most demoralizing rolls to hit, as an opponent to somebody rolling the super senses. You're just like, shit.
yeah, I get that.
But I think, as you're looking into Spider-Verse time, get that Kevin. Is Kevin still cheap? I mean, he was like $78 last year. Has he suddenly gone back up in price or something? Like, is he just not able to get?
It's a pain in the butt to try to Google him. She put in all those periods.
I mean, I'm just looking. I mean, I see one
200.
I see one for 170 on eBay.
One on February 18th and one on February 23. Both sold at 199.
So he has gone back up in price. He was under 100 when everybody was getting them at Worlds for nothing.
Yeah, there was one in January that sold for 80.
Yeah.
December 14th, 100. So yeah, he's been bouncing back and forth. But I mean, people are probably a little bit more hesitant right now because he's only got one more year of eligibility. And so if you think about it, you got 7 months left at Kevin. 4,
that's true.
5, 6 tournaments if you go to everything. So you gotta. That's where you're starting to play that game of like, okay, that's why I was mentioning Hadari, right?
Well,
right now,
Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously, in the fall after retirement, you'll have Silver Age states to play it at.
True. That's true. Yeah. But that's why I was talking about Hadari, though. Like, if I'm making investments now, and it's like, okay, I want to only purchase things that will give me more, like I know I'll be using for a while. I don't think Hadari's going to go into uselessness with having a 3 damage pulse wave. Like, sure, she might see a downtick after Mern, if Mern ever.
So, I have a question. I want y'all to make a call here at the end of February.
Mm-hmm.
Is the universal weapon going to be on a team that wins Worlds in 2025?
So there's a very good chance that it will.
Yeah, it's a yes/no statement. It's a yes/no, Jason.
Yes.
I'm calling it. Jason's calling it yes. I, too, am calling it yes. I think the universal weapon is on this year's Worlds winning team. Now, we know we're journalists, podcasters, etc., right? There's obviously stuff that can make a difference or come out that's even way better. But Alex, what do you think? Are you in agreement with us? Is universal weapon on the Worlds winning team this year?
Yes. Yeah. For reference, there were 2 universal weapons at Mexico City. There were 7 in Alabama. There was 6 in Vegas, and then there was 11 in Columbus. So they were seeing, 50% of teams in Columbus, or no, that's win percentage. That's a lot out there. Mexico City is kind of the outlier because I don't know how much Collector's Trove they actually got, but only 2 teams. But
now I will add one maybe small caveat to that. The universal weapon will be a paid-for weapon, or paid-for equipment. Because I'm looking at the meta. I just now looked at the meta on HC units for February, and the longsword is on that 1,059 teams. But it's also a really good free equipment, right?
Yeah, we don't have Cree keyword for the universal weapon, correct?
yeah.
So unless we get another Ronan the Accuser who's super meta, probably not.
Or we get a Captain Marvel. Like, they could give us a good Captain Marvel.
A Cree Captain Marvel. Yeah, it's super
the
good.
Hellfire one doesn't have Cree, I don't believe, unfortunately.
No, she doesn't.
The only detriment I could see that might dethrone that thought of universal weapon is the rink of telekinesis that we're getting in the upcoming
But does that even come out before Worlds? We don't really know.
It's supposed to. It's June.
Yeah, I think maybe sooner.
I
thought it was supposed to.
I take those release dates with a grain of thought, with a grain of sand these days, or whatever. Grain of salt.
True. But
I don't anymore. I think they've really gotten their game. Like, they've solved a lot of problems because we're getting Spider-Man now. Even though I know that was kind of an alliance whoopsie, but it was a whoopsie because that was the original. Like, the issue of it being late was always because Alliance didn't have it. So it came out early, quote unquote, because Alliance had it on time for the original release date of Spider-Man.
They had to ship it early to get past the tariffs.
so my thought is things are getting like much more, like all the changes they've been talking about, like getting things in order and whatnot. I think they finally are. I think they're finally solving some of those problems. Owlbear, has a date, a full date. So full dates on the solicits to me means it's like 90% sure happening.
Gotcha.
Of June 4th, 2025. So that tells me they've got the owlbears already.
I don't think the universal weapon is just going to be used for TK. I don't think it's main.
No, what I was meaning is like a lot of teams use that. Like I would say maybe 10 to 20% of teams probably use universal weapon on a cheaper piece to be their TK in case they don't want to use per degaton. Maybe they want to be themed. So I'm just saying, whatever that ring does, assuming it's going to do TK, that might cut some of that off if it's like a cheaper 5-point.
Mm-hmm.
Like I imagine it's probably like a 5-point ring that gives you TK.
I hope it's just like a reprint of the spin ring. That would be great. And speaking of tariffs,
that with that and keywords, that would be the other good part.
Yeah,
give us keywords.
If it's got good keywords, right, then it's just free. Then it's just everywhere. But speaking of tariffs, what are you guys, HeroClix related, going to spend your Doge refund check on?
Yeah, TikTok keeps telling me I'm getting one of those at some point, right?
Yeah, I want to know, right?
I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah.
I'm going to spend my Doge refund check on that Valentine's Day cable. That's what I want to spend it on because the money is imaginary, as is that Valentine's Day cable that is apparently going to be like, what's the effect? Not Mandela effect. What's the effect where you think something has happened but it hasn't? Like the Berenstain Bears.
That is the Mandela effect.
Is it? Mandela effect? I could see it like 2 or 3 years from now. We're going to have a Mandela effect of, yeah, don't you remember that Valentine's Day Deadpool had a cable in it? What are you talking about? Everything has just Deadpool in it.
I think I'm just going to bank my Doge refund check and hope for the best. I'm not going to spend it on HeroClix, that's for sure.
What about you, Danny? Are you going to spend the Doge check on Doge?
No. No. I've watched... I'm just waiting for my Sheeb to go up. I'm going to retire on my Sheeb. No, because I've watched Bitcoin go like to 106,000, I think, and it's back down below 83 now. So it wasn't even worth. I mean, I don't have enough of it to make a dent if I sold it that high. That probably means the Sheeb has crashed back down to a more normal level at this point.
It's about what it. Yeah, it's come down.
About as volatile as the collector trove chase prices. Up and down, up and down.
They definitely were underwhelming.
No, I mean, yeah, I'm looking here. My whole bunch of Sheeb. We're coming up on like about 4 years of owning the Sheeb. But no, yeah, it's lost $250. Yeah.
You invested a lot more than I did at 4 years ago.
That's debatable. I mean, like, I invested a case. Invested a case of HeroClix into it.
I think I forgot how much I put in.
I think you put $100 in it.
I think you're right. I think I did put $100 in it.
Yeah, so
that's what I was leaning towards.
I think I had enough. I think I had enough Sheeb that if it goes to 10 cents, I can retire.
What's it at currently there, Daniel?
There's a few zeros behind the decimal spot right there. So it's a long-term hold. I've had it for almost, like I said, the 3.5 years, coming up on 4 years now. So I'm in no rush now. So it is worth more than when I bought it.
Great Grandpa Daniel, did you ever invest in cryptocurrency? Why, yes, I'm still holding this Sheep in my late 80s. It's gonna hit that 10 cents.
If he's a great grandpa in his late 80s,
yeah, that's That's that would be a quick turnaround on a few points. That would be 3 generations in 50 years.
Hey, listen, it happens.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm looking forward to Florida. I'm looking forward to the warm weather. That's for sure. Looking forward to some sunshine. Looking forward to seeing folks.
Some
Looking
Spider-Man.
looking forward to playing Butterfly. I am looking forward to cracking some more Spider-Man. Apparently, we get to crack Spider-Man tomorrow, so that'll be fun. So, wish y'all were going to Florida with me.
It'd be
Same.
fun to being at work, that's for sure.
Yeah. I got to just save up money for other tournaments down the line. Like, I'm not even going to Adepticon. It's just because too many...
Yeah.
Those all cost money. It's hard to do that one, and you have to start saving for Worlds, maybe, Origins or Gen Con or something as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping to hit those Rock States, hopefully this summer, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Rock States.
I think we should hear more about Origins if it's going to be able to happen after Adepticon. And then States. Hopefully, Howard has some good news about that. Of course, did Alex? Maybe if you can't tell us, that's okay, because I didn't watch the video of Howard's yet. What's all the situation with Rock Cup this year? That might be a little good piece of news to talk about real quick as we round out our show.
So he has posted, I believe, on the Rock page.
I was pulling it up
Face-
to look.
Yeah, on the Facebook page, I believe he posted some of the basic. Yeah, we're drawing close. So this year it's at Divergence. It's like a VR place. Because remember, Lucky Dice Cafe is not around anymore. We're actually coming up to a year on it, I guess. So it's a place in Huntsville. It's in a nice part of town. And so the key thing to remember is that this is not at the beginning of May. They had to change, because of Porter's, schedule of being a professional actor and whatnot. They had to move some things around. So it's going to be
And Mother's Day.
Mother's Day is the week before, but yes.
Yeah.
I think there's a weekend
No, it's the third weekend.
Yeah, the event's at the third weekend. Mother's Day's the second weekend. So we still could have done the first, I guess, but not with Porter's schedule and some other things. So it is the 14th through the 18th of May, which is, in my opinion, perfect because it's in between Mother's Day and Memorial Day weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not really conflicting with either. But it'll be in Huntsville. It's on the west side of Huntsville, so closer to the airport.
It's basically south central. I'm looking at it
South
right
Central.
now.
That's right. Well, not as south central as
middle. It's just right south of downtown.
Yeah, it's not as south in a way as the Lucky Dice was. Lucky Dice was much further south, but
right.
This place is south central, kind of on the west side-ish, southwest-ish, but it's a nice little area over there. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
I'm eager. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine, right? I'm looking forward to the team event, looking forward to the sealed, and I'm maybe even looking forward to silver if there's some much needed changes happening. So hopefully we get that announcement sooner than later.
Oh, and another thing I wanted to talk about before we wrap this up. This is especially for Champion Clix because we won't be recording before Champion Clix. Most likely, we might
do the set review next week if we feel up to it.
But if everyone wants to submit this, they can. And you could do it too whenever we post this. One of the things I want to start doing is I heard this on Critical Clix. They were reading some of the funny names of teams on HC units, and so I thought that'd be fun to do also. Is for Champion Clix, if you play a team and it has to be at one of these big tournaments, it can't be just, I made a team off to the side and never played it. If you make a team and it has a hilarious team name, submit it. Like, just, add a link to the post of this episode or something. And the funniest one, we'll read it on air, and then we'll talk about your team for a couple minutes.
I have one. I have one for this episode.
Yeah, so for an example, go for
it. So from Alabama, it was the 4th place player's wife, Brittany Hitt, and her team's name was It's Brittany, Bitch.
And her username on HC Units is Bitchel.
Yeah.
Because her middle name is Mitchell, I guess. It says Brittany Mitchell Hitt. Maybe that's her maiden name or something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so she played a mystical team: King Arthur, Free Bard Sword, Ghost Rider, Bag of Holding, John Con, Kong, Wonder Woman with the long sword. Pretty straightforward team. It was a pretty tough field down there in Alabama to go through, but it was a good team.
But yeah, so submit those next time, because we'll do a deep dive into your team, or like a little dive into it. But I thought it was funny because that is a unique thing that you could do on HC Units, and I love funny names because it just makes the team. It makes me want to click on your team to be like, okay, why did you name it this? And so I thought we should reward people that are creative and come up with funny names. It has to be. So we'll be looking at the Champion Clix main tournaments, or the tournaments that are happening there. So just keep that in mind.
Oh, Dan would love this one. I don't know if he's seen this one or not. From Columbus. Juggernauts.
That's the guy that I played. That was 14. I think it was Ethan Jacobs, right?
Ethan Duncan.
Ethan Duncan.
I like Manny Ortega's James Rhodes, the Boom, looking for this. I just thought that was really funny because
there's one called Welfare Check. The hell.
That's we know what Brian Smith used his Doge check on was a Ultra Chase Collector.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked it. Tyler Magin, Big Monkey. Monkey with the Colossus, or Kong with Colossus.
Kong with Colossus.
5 points underbuilt. Could have at least used rivalry on that team. Yeah, welfare check. It's funny. All right. Well, let's wrap it up. Alex, final thoughts.
I'm excited to start the Spider-Man review because I only just started looking at the set today a little bit because I was just focused on Collector's Trove and whatnot, and the set kind of surprised me. I was surprised that pre-release was happening this week, so I'm excited to see the set.
Jason, final thoughts?
Yeah, I'm excited to pop some Spidey boosters tomorrow and hopefully pull something cool. And I'm excited to see what gets played at Champion Clix. It does well.
Yep. So
good luck to everybody going.
I am looking forward to seeing everybody next week down at Champion Clix. Come up and say hi, as Ryan and myself from Team Clixed Off will be there. So feel free to come up and talk to us. And looking forward to seeing y'all. And thanks everybody for listening to Clixed Off today. And we'll talk to y'all next time.
Later.
See ya.
See ya.